right, thanks for joining us tonight here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Did you miss me? I haven't been with you for a few weeks. It's Monday, June 23rd. Tonight we're taking a look at fire danger, specifically in Utah, when we're talking about the progression of the Forsyth Fire in the Pine Valley area. That is in southern Utah. For those of you joining us, maybe even on the live stream, not from Utah. For that, we need our meteorologist, Sterling Paulson, here with our first alert forecast. And nice to have you with us tonight. This has been a very active stretch for some complexities for fire crews, but it seems like maybe getting a little bit of a needed break today with the winds settling quite a bit.
Yeah, Saturday night and Sunday we had a nice cold front come in, raised the humidity levels across northern Utah, and even dug clear down into southern Utah. And we've even got a little precipitation going on out here in Nevada right now, which we probably won't see here in Utah. But suffice it to say, what Brian said, we did get a break, and the winds have died down significantly across the state, which is great news. And we don't expect a lot of shifting winds, at least not over the next 24 hours or so. But yeah, a little bit of light shower activity over central Nevada. All of this is not any shower activity here. We've had this persistent band of clouds across Utah for the last, all day today. And it's probably going to stick around all night tonight. So here's the winds: 15 miles an hour in St. George, 15 in Monticello, 12 in Blanding. Nothing extremely strong. And I'll show you coming up how we expect those winds to play out. And you can see the humidity levels are up in most areas, still single digits in St. George and Page down in the lower deserts, but very much improved across the entire region. Temperatures right now, beautiful, in the 70s, 80 degrees in St. George, 91 in St. George, or 80 in Cedar City, 91 in St. George. There's a low pressure system here. I'll show you where it's headed, what it's going to do to our forecast. What about all these clouds out here? We'll talk all about all of that coming up in my first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
These are just the first of likely many that are going to happen.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office says as of this morning, the lightning-caused Forsyth Fire burned about 7,045 acres, 0% containment. They're sharing that information from the Forest Service and that complex incident management team that is out there working on this fire right now. There are more than 400 firefighters working on this fire in southern Utah. Aerial crews dropping fire retardant along the ridge line near a burn scar to help slow the spread if possible. That'll help give ground crews a little heads up if they can to work towards extinguishing some of the forward progress of that fire. Also extinguishing hot spots behind structures, reaching up to about 100 feet into that burned area. This morning on Arc Salt Lake, Ron and Lincoln spoke with Kelly Bird from Unified Fire Authority, who says the incident management team has their work cut out for them on this fire.
There's a incident management team that's kind of the authority figure over the incident, and they're putting all the resources, all of their understanding, their knowledge together to try and figure out what the best course of action is, and that's something that they do on an ongoing basis. It feels mostly helpless, and you know, they're doing everything that they can within their control, within their power, but that's pretty minimal at this point, and so they're having a really hard time waiting for opportunities for the wind to die down so that they can do. And I know the wind, I think yesterday they reported the winds were down a little bit, so they were able to do a little bit of aerial surveillance and to try and use some of their infrared technology to figure out where the hot spots are, where the potential growth is, and it's a very difficult situation that is unfortunate what they're facing right now.
Heidi Hatch in southern Utah today. She spoke to a Latter-day Saint leader who says almost all the members of his church had to be relocated for their own safety.
There's about 200 members of the church in this branch, and yeah, they're all impacted. Almost all of them have left and are in temporary housing or in hotels and such.
Does it get to be even busier in the summertime when people are vacationing here, where you're bursting at the seams?
Often up to 800 members. They're all outside, sitting in chairs, watching it on screens, and it's quite an environment between Memorial Day and Labor Day. This place has emotional attachment for a lot of people, and to see it like this, it's heartbreaking. It's a place that I personally love, and there are a lot of people up here that are very dear to me, and many of them have had significant damage. We love this place. This is one of our happy places, yes.
What makes it such a great place?
Well, the beauty of it, the temperature. From St. George, of course, we come up here to cool down typically, and it's a beautiful day if it weren't for the smoke. And the circumstances, of course, it makes it more than a little bit of a downer, but it's just a beautiful place. And so much camping and so much to do. I'd like to thank all those that are helping with the firefighters and the supplies, and it's really meant a lot, I know, to the firefighters and those that are on the front lines. They're tired, and it's nice for them to know that they're appreciated and supported. And my heart just goes out to those people that have lost homes and that are struggling right now. It's going to be tough going forward for a lot of people. It just changes a lot of things. It's a volunteer fire department, staffed with people sometimes 60, 70 years old, and they're still going at it and just being a part of the community. There's a huge, powerful community feel here, and you can see them coming together.
The community is coming together in this time of hardship, throwing a fundraiser for recovery efforts. This Wednesday, you can dine to donate to support the Pine Valley recovery effort. The fundraiser will be held at Chubby's Neighborhood Cafe. That is in St. George from 2 to 9 p.m., 188 North Bluff Street. If you can't make it, you can also donate to support the Pine Valley community by Venmoing the contact there you see on your screen on this flyer. Right now, crews from several western states are in southern Utah trying to knock back the Forsyth and the France Canyon fires. We'll talk more about that one in just a moment. But what happens if wildfires in Utah get too big and local crews need more help? And what happens if fire crews in the region are spread too thin? Paul Nelson shows us how the agencies work together during a time of need.
These guys, the Lone Peak Hotshots, just got back from working on 3 different fires, the Sterling and Forsyth fires in Utah, along with Burnt Canyon in Nevada. And now they've been ordered to get some rest and recover, since they'll be deployed to more fires soon enough.
Right now, for our 20-person hand crews, we've got anywhere from about 110 to 120 crews assigned nationally right now. That includes resources across the Southwest, southern Utah.
Sean Peterson with the National Interagency Fire Center says they're at what they would consider normal for this time of year, but he also says normal is still very busy. Some of Utah's fire crews have been deployed to Nevada, Wyoming, and even Canada.
When you have so many requests from so many agencies asking for resources, how do you prioritize which one is, say, the more pressing need? Is it Utah or is it Alaska, or what are we looking at?
So when we get a request for any type of resource in here, specifically some of the tactical resources like hand crews, hotshot crews, smoke jumpers, air tankers, in the order that comes into us, they will determine the values at risk for that incident.
That means if there are structures, communication towers, or energy infrastructure at risk, those fires would be considered a higher priority. For now, Peterson says we're at what they call National Preparedness Level 3, which is when fire crews start to get spread out pretty thin.
We are starting to see some competition for resources across the geographic areas, but outside of individual overhead requests, we've been able to fill just about every request that's came in here to the Coordination Center.
He's expecting that we'll reach Level 4 in about a month.
When we're extremely busy, when we're at National Preparedness Level 5, no fire is going to get everything that they want, though, but we are not there yet.
Now, in order to be considered a large fire, it has to have burned either 300 acres of grass and sage or 100 acres of trees. But there is another problem area that has people concerned. Alaska has 50 large fires, relatively new, so a lot of the national resources will have to go up there. Paul Nelson, KUTV 2 News.
Well, good to see the Lone Peak Hotshots home for a few days. They'll be on R&R and back ready to go in just a few. Also continuing to burn in Utah, the France Canyon fire has grown to more than 23,000 acres. In an update today, fire officials say they have some containment on this fire. It is on the southwest portion by some of the nearby structures, still a good distance away. They feel confident that that area is pretty secure. Nearly 750 fire personnel on scene working to contain this fire. By the way, there's more fire personnel working on this fire than on the Forsyth Fire. So just put that into perspective here. On Sunday, the fire moved east into the Kings Creek campground, where crews were able to protect the campsite. Today, crews used bulldozers to help secure structures in the area. Fire crews and law enforcement asking you to slow down if you are driving by this area. This area has a lot of smoke leading to lower visibility. Wildfire season definitely here to stay. Those 2 major fires started last week and 5 more in the last 24 hours. This all comes ahead of one of the busiest times of year for fire crews. It is the 4th of July. Ahead of the celebrations, fire crews are calling on Utahns to be prepared. Firefighters say that you should always know which fireworks are legal in your area. Keep a bucket of water nearby. Never allow your children to handle or ignite fireworks. The governor was pretty strongly wording his hopes for all Utahns when it comes to fireworks, by the way, when he spoke just a few days ago. So maybe leave it to the professionals this year. Good idea? I think so. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, Idaho parents who fear their children were taken by their older sister, who's part of the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints. Two children missing from Idaho could be on their way to Utah. The children's mother says they left a fundamentalist LDS group and believes they may have been kidnapped by a former member. Before we move on, remember, we shared something like this with you out of Arizona a few months ago. If you're interested in the reunification sort of aspect, did a lot of coverage on that. You can find it on our YouTube page. Anyway, regarding this, Leslie Duarte spoke to the children's mother and the organization who is hoping to help find them.
I love them and hope they'll come home.
On Sunday, Elizabeth Roundy's children, 13-year-old Alan Fisher and 15-year-old Rachel Fisher, went missing from their home in Monteview, Idaho.
I let them go down to the shop, and when I come back to get them, they were gone.
In 2020, she and her youngest children left the FLDS group, which has allegedly been involved in criminal activity such as polygamy, underage marriage, and sexual abuse against children.
We know she is not safe, especially based on the latest revelations that have been coming out of the church.
Tanya Toole, with Holding Out Help, works with families who have left religious cults and says she is worried for the children's safety.
What is the latest revelation that has come out of the church?
Yeah, there's been 2 revelations. The first one was gather up your children, essentially the end of the world is coming, that the followers could become translated beings, but they must die first.
Toole and Roundy say they fear the children were taken by their older sister, who is still in the FLDS group.
We believe the children left in a gray Honda sedan from Idaho.
What do you want police to do?
I want them to put out an Amber Alert and treat it like a kidnapping, because it is.
I reached out to Jefferson County sheriffs regarding these missing cases and asked where the investigation stood and why an Amber Alert wasn't issued Sunday night. In a statement, the sheriff's department said as soon as they received information that the children may be in danger, the process of an Amber Alert was started, and added they're investigating and following every lead. An Amber Alert was issued just after 1 p.m. today. Elizabeth has one more message for her children.
Call me. I'll come get you in a heartbeat. I love you.
The mother adds it's very likely her children will be kept away from public view and will be moved around, but adds that if anyone knows information about her children's whereabouts, to please contact the local police department. Reporting in Salt Lake, Leslie Duarte, KUTV 2 News.
All right, 7:17, let's get hot. More than 30 records for high temperatures were set this weekend across the eastern part of the U.S. Now, beaches across the eastern part of the country are crowded with people trying to keep cool as temperatures soar up to about 20 degrees above normal for some areas. By the way, I was in Chicago a few days ago. Boy, that humidity hit me. I wasn't ready for that. It's been a few years. In New York City, officials are urging people to find a cooling center if they don't have access to air conditioning.
Heat is not only uncomfortable, but is the #1 cause of weather-related deaths in our city.
So my family lives in Connecticut. They were dealing with it today. Temperatures were triple digits, and it was also very humid. The seasonal extremes go both ways, though. Parts of California, Sierra Nevada region got a light blanket of snow, and the Red Mountain Lodge there in Montana paused its summer activities to shoot some drone video for us. With activities they're paused because of 4 inches of snow dropped over the weekend, and it looks quite delightful there. Today, people living from the Central Plains to the Great Lakes on alert for severe thunderstorms, hail, and even some tornado possibilities. And right here in Utah, I'd say we've got the best of everything right now. I mean,
yeah, we do.
I'm not going to disagree with 72
That's
and
pretty
sunshine.
Nice. Yeah, that heat we had last week has moved east. It's going to stick around there for a while.
Picked up some moisture with it,
a little bit of humidity, so you get those temperatures around 85 to 90, and you've got 80% humidity. That's a lot of heat. Right
TMI,
there, so.
I was a little sticky.
Well, you don't. Your skin doesn't evaporate. Like, you know, it's not.
Wasn't ready for it.
Evaporative cooling goes away, so swamp coolers don't work either. But we have good swamp coolers here in Utah. 72 degrees, as we mentioned here, Salt Lake City, Provo, and Ogden. And partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies over Salt Lake City. We've had this persistent band of high clouds over us most of the day. Okay, the fire weather warning is in place here for eastern Utah, the northeastern part of the state, and portions of northwestern Colorado until 8 o'clock tonight. So after 8 o'clock, we should see those temperatures headed down, humidity levels rising so that they can take that down. So here's our situation. We've still got that low pressure system, which is going to linger for a few days, by the way. It's going to kind of lift, and then it's going to kind of dumbbell back around. Let's just sit out here. So we're going to see this southwesterly flow. We're going to see some clouds. We may even see a little bit of this moisture in Nevada sneaking into Utah and popping up a shower or two, but nothing of any subsequent big rainfall totals or anything like that. This is not rain. This is clouds that are moving through and that's picking up. These are light showers out here over northeastern Nevada. So there's your humidity levels. Very nice. 22%, 33% in Provo, 13% in Delta. You get down to south. Hanksville's still at 9%. Canyonlands 10%. And you can see those lower deserts at 8% at St. George and Page. So that's going to be the problem areas. We're still going to see the southwest winds, although not as strong as we had as that cold front approached, because all that cold air has already moved in and moved out. So we're going to see the light winds. This is what we've got right now, 15 miles an hour in St. George. But the mountains and the fires create their own weather patterns, so you can get very gusty winds in a fire when the rest of the area around you doesn't necessarily see those winds. So let's put it all into motion. The winds die down tonight. They pick back up again in southeastern Utah tomorrow, up to 20 miles an hour in Moab, 15 miles an hour in Milford. So that's enough to cause some problems for firefighters. Then they go away at night. They come back in the afternoon. This time they're kind of a little bit farther north, up in portions of Wyoming, and that dies down a little bit across the southwestern part of the state. So that's something we're looking at as well. So hour by hour, we're going to keep the clouds overnight tonight. It's going to stay cloudy, but the temperatures are going to be cooling down into the 50s, and that is going to feel wonderful. Okay, 94 tomorrow in St. George, 97 on Wednesday, 100 on Thursday, and then we're triple digits for the rest of the week. And in fact, it gets downright toasty Sunday and Monday, 106 and 108, and then we stay at 104 on Tuesday and Wednesday. The normal high is 98 degrees. Salt Lake City, our normal high is 87, and we're going to be pretty close to normal the next couple of days. Then we get above normal again and right into the weekend, temperatures in the mid-90s, triple digits as we get into Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're still in the mid to upper 90s and no rain in that forecast. And we'll be back right after this.